Hello. All right, so what are we looking at today? We have the Pico POG from Electro Harmonics, and that stands for Polyphonic Octave Generator. And it does just that. It creates a high or a low octave with your playing, and it can do it polyphonically. Go figure. These things are best known for their ability to track your playing and all the dynamics that you produce really well. Before we get too far, let's start with a little bit of history about the POG, though, and where it all started. So, Electro Harmonics first released the first iteration of the POG in 2005, and it was revolutionary for its time for its ability to generate an octave above and below your playing and allowing for the simulation of up to 18 strings essentially, or to make it even sound like, your Hammond organ, throw a little bit of rotary behind it, it would do the same thing. The old school EHX large enclosure that everybody's seen, with the Big Muff and the Memory Man and stuff like that. That's what it came in, and it had some sliders, and I'll put up a picture of that right about here. And for each one, you had filter control, and you had control over volume for each octave as well as your dry signal. And you had a low pass filter, and I think that was pretty much it for the original version. The introduction of the POG brought a powerful tool to artists' hands, and it was made popular, being utilized by people like Joe Satriani, Josh Homme, Jack White, just to name a few. Born from the success of the original, EHX followed up with several different iterations. In 2007, we got the Micro POG, which was just a smaller enclosure, kind of looked like this. And then in 2009, we got the POG 2, which was just a better version of everything. I think you had different filter options, amongst other things. And let's see. Eventually, we get here with the Pico POG. So 2015 is whenever we got the Nano POG, and they chose to make it, I think it was smaller than this, or it's an enclosure kind of like what Chase Place uses. And then it landed us with the Pico POG and the POG 3. Now, the POG 3 is a $700 beast with a bunch of capabilities. That's something that I'll let you go find on your own and check out. But that's what's leading the current generation. Aside from the obvious octave doubling, these pedals just open the door to making guitar sound larger than life and bigger. Bigger than you would expect. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Today we're using the St. Vincent from Sterling. Love this guitar. And we're running into the usual archetype Rabia. And right now everything's off except for clean. Just a little bit of compression, which is really more of a volume boost than anything. And then the Dark Star up there is giving us a pretty basic reverb. All right, let's see what we got. So to start things off, let's just do one octave at a time. Pretty cool. What's it like just by itself? You can fake your way to a bass guitar on that pretty easily. But I like keeping the dry signal in there. Let's see how muddy it gets. It's actually maintaining pretty good. Still hear the chord behind there. Alright, time for the higher octave. So this would be like your 12-string simulator. And this is what everybody loves about it. You can play chords and they sound pretty dang good. So let's max that out. It's kind of boosted actually when you do that. Let's see what we get with both of them. This is when it kind of starts to lose itself. It can get a little bit muddy around here. But when you keep the dry in there, it actually sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. Usually I don't pull the dry out like that. Very fun. And then we still get our filters in here. This was more of a classic one. So you can filter out the higher octave a little bit by getting some of the treble out of there. And you can filter out the lower octave by pulling some of the bass out of there. Pretty obvious, huh? Let's check out the next one. Alright, I think that's the band pass. Or maybe it's just the low pass. Yeah, I think that's the classic low pass filter. So that should make this sound really cool. Alright, that's pretty fun. Now that sounds like either a high pass or a band pass. pretty simple sounds you can get out of it, but very fun. Pretty fun. I think the only thing missing, you probably had expression control on POG 2, I believe. And then I know the POG 3 has all sorts of options. You have MIDI control, expression control, probably even has CV in and out and all that. But yeah, that was just a short little example of what you can get out of the POG Pico. I think this thing does a lot for its price. I think it's right around $200 or $220, and just putting a little bit of drive after it. They sound pretty gnarly. Get a lot accomplished with just two pedals here. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.